Hello, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Rahibul Maktoum and I am a student of class 7 section B. Today I come here with my project which is a organic fertilizing filter. It's basically a type of filter that converts our household and organic waste and turns it into nature fertilizer which is beneficial for the plants and harmless. Many people have started their own hobbies. I and my parents have created this garden, but we need fertilizer for the plants to blossom better, quickly. But as of the pandemic situation, we cannot go out to buy fertilizer, and organic fertilizer is pretty expensive. Their cheap counterparts, chemical fertilizer, are cheap, but they are harmful to the environment, and they are harmful to the environment. Have decided to make our own fertilizer. It is homemade, beneficial for the plants, and also harmless to the environment. The way of making it is really simple. It is not that costly. We just need two buckets and a tap. First, we are going to poke some holes on the base of the upper bucket so that the fluids can pass through to the lower bucket. The process of making it is really simple. We just need two buckets and a tap. And the tap. First, we are going to poke some holes in the base of the first bucket so that the fluid, after rotting, the household waste rots, the fluid can pass to the second bucket, and we are also going to pierce some holes around the top of the bucket. This will help oxygen to pass so that the food can so that the household stuff can rot quickly. But we cannot make these holes too big, or odor will come and flies may enter the bucket. Except for that, it is really easy. In the second bucket we will not do much. We will just attach a tap to the lower portion of the bucket, and that's about it. How to make it. Pause. The fertilizer itself is really easy to make. We can make it by only using our own household fertilizers, such as not fertilizer, household waste, such as eggshells, banana peels, household vegetables, used grounded tea leaves. Now I'm going to show you put some of it in the upper bucket. Okay. Remember to put a net over here so that the residues don't drop and directly drop to the bottom part. So the main thing in making a fertilizer is NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. We get nitrogen. The main base of fertilizer is NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. We get nitrogen from grounded tea leaf. We get potassium from banana peels, and we get phosphorus from eggshells. Going to put some of the household waste here. Okay. Then we are going to put some grounded tea leaf. And we can also use chopped vegetables or rotten vegetables. This gives the plants vitamins, minerals, and many other nutritions. Make sure these are sealed properly so that smell does not come out. We can also use 3, 2, 1. We can also use garden weed and many other household materials that I have not used here. We can also use animal droppings and the left food that the animals and we don't eat. Pause. Into 20 days, a kind of fluid will come out of the come out of the bucket. We have kept it for about 14 days, and we are going to extract the juice. It might take a while. It will take a while. It's really the fluid comes really comes really slowly. About this time, I have been able to extract this much of it. In the comparison of it is in 10 liters of water, we can put about 1 liter of this fluid. We cannot give it directly to the plants, or it will be harmful for the plants. By everyday household waste, such as people almost every day eat an egg in breakfast. We can use eggshell, and then we can use vegetable peels and rotten vegetables also, and we can make it daily. Thanks.
Assalamualaikum everyone. I am Habiba Islam Sadika, Road Herty from Class 7 Section C. Today I am going to present my science project, that is the earthquake alarm. Now let us see what are the materials that are required to make this project and how does it work. So first we need a battery, and here I have used a 9-volt battery. Then a battery clip connector, and I have used a 9-volt battery clip connector. Then we also need a switch, on-off switch, and we also need a buzzer, then a NOT bolt, a safety pin, and copper wire. Now let's see how does it work. First we have to stick the safety pin here in the pillar. Then we have to hang the NOT bolt with a copper wire on the wall like this, and then at the end of the copper wire we have to connect one end of the clip connector by connecting the clip connector with the battery. Then with the another end of the clip connector we have to connect it to the switch, and then we have to connect the buzzers first wire to the switch and the second with the safety pin. Now we have to make another clarification that in the switch the wires of the buzzer and the battery's clip connector, they are a little close and a little connected, and here so now see how does it work here. So let's suppose that now there is going to be an earthquake, and it is the primary stage of the earthquake. Now see what happens. A little shaking, the earthquake, and the bolts copper wire is striking the safety pin and making an alarming sound. And this alarming sound are alerting us that there is soon going to be an earthquake. So the people should be alert after the alarm, and they should take safe distance and take shelter in a safe place. Now let's see the full description of the science project. The name of the science project is Earthquake Alarm. An earthquake alarm is an alarm that helps us to be alert or to alert people during an earthquake. The materials that I have required to make this earthquake alarm are 9-volt battery, 9-volt battery clip connector, a buzzer, an on or off switch, a NOT bolt, then copper wire, and I have used hardboard and cardboard can also be used. And the total amount or the total cost to make this project that I have made, and the total cost was less than 550. So we can say that the ordinary people can also make this project at a very low cost, and this can also be very helpful to save lives that are usually lost in an earthquake. The usefulness of an earthquake alarm. We know earthquake is the shaking of the Earth's surface due to sudden release of energy in Earth's lithosphere. Earthquakes can differ in size from those who can't be even felt to those who can destroy a whole city in a moment. From the very ancient time, earthquakes have caused many massive destructions in the world. Though still now there is no way to know when an earthquake is going to happen, an earthquake alarm can help to reduce the death toll caused by earthquakes and lessen the damages. So that is why I have made an earthquake alarm as my science project, and it is very useful, and it can alert us during the primary shaking, and we can be alert and take shelter in a safe place, and we can also save many lives that are usually lost in these earthquakes. So thank you everyone. This is my project earthquake alarm.
Assalamu alaikum. I am Tahmil Wasi, class 7, section D. Today I am going to introduce a new device which is very useful in this situation. In this pandemic situation, the whole world got stuck. But our teachers are trying heart and soul by the grace of internet to keep a touch of education. Though we have in Wi-Fi connection in our home, but it occurs problem when the electricity goes. Not only me, every student who are using Wi-Fi face this problem. To solve this problem, I have made this device which is very useful in this situation. This device will help the router and Ethernet device to run when the electricity goes. Here is the device. The box of this device is taken from an old power supply of my desktop, and I took out the circuit board of this box and placed a 12-volt battery inside it. And it's the charger by which I charge this battery, and let's check it. See this? These two are running. I need to follow some connections to make this device. The connections are like this. Hope you like my science project. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Nifsam Rahimi Choudhury. I am a student of class 7 section. The idea of my project is to create an algorithm such that it determines the speed of a moving vehicle. My algorithm will work as follows. At first, this length of the road will be given as a constant input to the algorithm. Meaning the algorithm will estimate the time taken by the vehicle to cross the road. By putting these pieces of information together, we will get the speed of the vehicle. This will be useful in many ways and can benefit the country. For example, as a developing countries, many accidents occur in Bangladesh each year. If we can implement this algorithm, we can make sure that the vehicle is within the speed limit. Many accidents occur due to the recklessness of the vehicle drivers as they go outside the speed limit. If we can implement this algorithm, we can make sure that the drivers don't go outside the speed limit. If or they try to go outside the speed limit, we can use the law enforcers to take action against them. This will also in turn reduce accidents. For example, since this is live detecting the speed of a vehicle, if we see that they are trying to cross the speed limit, we can quickly take actions against them and prevent from any damage, harm or accidents from happening. Thus, this algorithm, by implementing this algorithm, we can reduce the number of accidents that take place in the country by one, ensuring that the drivers are within the speed limit, and by detecting that if any harm will happen or any accidents happen, we can stop that. This is the algorithm. If we run the algorithm will detect the speed of the vehicle. The algorithm is running. The algorithm is running. As we can see, the algorithm is determining the speed of the vehicle.
Assalamu alaikum, my respected principal sir, respected vice principal ma'am, and respected teachers. Today's function is Online Science Fair 2020 and I am a contestant. I am Muhammad Ali Hassan Rabi from class 7, section B, and my roll number is 29. And my today's topic about Online Science Fair is water dispenser, as all of you can see over here. So let me now show you my project. This is my project, and basically the function is that when I will press this switch over here, water from this bottle will come or flow out from this pipe. So now let's talk about the components. For doing my project, I need some basic components and they are also the main components. So to do my project, I will be in need of a bottle, water pump, motor, flow pipe, cable tie, glue gun, glue stick, cardboard, battery socket, then click switch, then connection wires. So now let me show you that I have all of the materials or components. First of all, from the first part, a bottle, then inside water pump motor, then flow pipe, then cable tie attached with a flow pipe and a water pump motor, then a glue gun. These all the glues here I have used from the glue gun. Then glue stick. Here as you can see, it's the glue stick. Then cardboard. These all are cardboards. Then battery, then battery socket, then click switch, it's over here, then connection wires, these are. So now first step I have followed is, first of all I will take a bottle, water pump motor, flow pipe and cable tie. Then tie the flow pipe with pump motor and seal the hole with glue as shown. So now let me show you. It's the bottle, then inside it's the pump motor, then flow pipe, which is again attached with cable tie. Then now the hole, the cap, it's sealed or it's sealed or attached with glue from the glue gun. Now step 2. I will cut the necessary pieces of cardboard and attach with the bottle as shown. So these are the cardboard pieces I need. Now this part, this upper part, then this second part, this first part, second part, third part, and this fourth part. These are the diameters of this bottle. Now let's talk about this height. So basically this height is the height of this bottle, and again this height is the height of this bottle. So I think all of you are clear of step number 2. Then step number 3 is I will then attach the battery, click switch and the pump motor with connection wire as shown. Then the last para is these are the main steps to be followed. The rest steps are given or shown in the video. So step number 3, it's I will then attach battery, click switch and water pump motor wires with each other through connection wire. So now it's the click switch, and one wire of this click switch is connected with this pump motor, and one wire is connected with this battery. Then again one wire of this battery is connected with this click switch and another is with this, and this pump motor wire is connected with battery, both battery and click switch. So now it was the main steps. Now let me show you the final step. So the final step is that now I will pour water in this bottle, and the water through this flow pipe will come out. First of all, let's check the switch. Yes, it's properly working. I'll keep it aside. I will keep it aside. So now as you are seeing that I have taken the water, it's full with water, this jug, and this mug is empty. So now I will pour this water. Now let's see. So the water is coming. Yes, I have poured little amount of water. For that reason it's not coming now. So now as you are seeing, it's the water from this bottle has transferred here. So now this was the end of my today's project. So stay fine, stay safe. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. To keep yourself safe during this COVID-19 pandemic, wear a mask whenever you step out of your house. Tighten the nose pin around the mask to get a safer fit.
Clean your hands often. Use soap and water or an alcohol-based hand rub.
If your hands are not clean, avoid touching your eyes, mouth and nose.
Cover your nose and mouth with your bent elbow or a tissue when you cough or sneeze.
Maintain a safe distance whenever you go out.
Stay home if you feel unwell.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Rubaiyat Tasir Orni and I'm a student of class 8 section 8. This is my science project for Science Fair 2020. My project's name is Automatic Hand Sanitizer Machine. This project is really useful and it's related to the present situation of the world. I made this project by using cardboard, and I also used a switch and used a water bottle, the air pump DC motor, wire, and as you can also see that there is a syringe pipe and battery connector. So at first I used the water bottle and I made two holes. I made two holes in the water bottle so that the syringe pipe can get through it. Here you can see it if you look from a little bit closer. Then I connected the 9V battery with the wire connector, and I connected these 2 points, with one point with the switch and the another one with the air pump DC motor. So when the motor starts, with the help of when I turn on the switch, with the help of battery, the motor starts, and when the motor starts, the pipe collects the sanitizer from inside the bottle and serves and gives us the result you saw before. I used this so that the pipe can stay stable. We all know that motor can sometimes make the pipe vibrate. So for this, we use this thing so that the pipe can stay stable and it doesn't move. Now, my project is also, you can also see that this project, the body is made with cardboard, and it's really easy to make this project. You can find the elements, the materials for making this from different local markets. And it's also really light and easy to carry. It's portable and it's small. It can vary from sizes, but I prefer to make it small so that we can carry it whenever, if we go outside or if we go in a picnic, we can use this so that everyone can use this hand sanitizer. Now, in here you can see the why this project is made and the materials for making this project. You can also see the procedure, how I made this, like how I use the hand sanitizer and also how I use the water bottle. Now, the main use of this project is that little kids also use hand sanitizer. Mainly, we all use hand sanitizer to be safe or to prevent us from germs and diseases. Not for the COVID-19 actually. We used hand sanitizer from before, but the little kids who doesn't have the idea of amount, takes a lot of hand sanitizer, which may cause them, which may make their hands a bit sticky and also make them uncomfortable as they can't mix it properly. This hand sanitizer provides us with the right amount of sanitizer the kids need to use. So this is my science project, and as you can see, it's really easy to carry and really easy to make if you follow the right, and you can see the sanitizer, the pipe, the wire. And so when we turn on the switch, the pipe takes the sanitizer from it and gives us the product we made. So that's all for today, and I hope this comes to use for our students also whenever the school will reopen. We need to be careful. We need to be careful always because germs are everywhere. So not only to prevent COVID-19, we should use the sanitizer. We should use the sanitizer all the time to prevent us from diseases, to prevent us from germs like viruses and bacteria. So that's all for today, and thank you very much.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the virtual science fair of Cantonment English School and College of 2020. My name is Prohar Nunde. I am from class 8, and in this science fair I belong from group A. Today my project is wastewater management. As you can understand from the name of the project, the goal is to purify the wastewater which has been produced or created during different household works and convert it into fresh and pure water which people can drink and use it in different household activities. Bangladesh is a densely populated country. Once where 5 to 6 families live in one area, at present 50 to 60 families or more than that live in those areas. As a result, the freshwater bodies are being filled up and people are using the fresh water more than before. As a result, the pressure on fresh water is also increasing, which results in the scarcity of pure drinking water or fresh water. People use water in different household works like washing, cleaning, in the washrooms, etc. My aim is to collect all the waste water which has been created during these activities and convert it into a fresh and pure water which people can utilize afterwards and also drink it. Now let's see how this process works. At first, all the waste waters are collected in the collection tank. From the collection tank, the water goes to the screening and grit chamber. In the screening and grit chamber, all the heavy particles or hard particles like rocks, pebbles, branches of trees, plastics are accumulated. From the screening and grit chamber, the water travels to the skimming tank. In the skimming tank, the concentrated water which are harmful like oil and grease are filtered here. From the skimming tank, the water goes to the primary sedimentation tank. In the primary sedimentation tank, small dust particles or tiny dust particles are accumulated. From the sedimentation tank, the water goes to the aeration chamber. In the aeration chamber, there is a microbial growth which destroys a small amount of microbes and bacteria from the body, but the larger amount of microbes are then removed in the next process. The next process is the purification tank. In the purification tank, the purification process can be done in 3 different ways. Chlorination process, using UV rays or using ozone gas. In Bangladesh, the use of chlorine or concentrated bleach powder is more affordable as it can be easily found. So, we use chlorination process or concentrated bleach in the water, which can destroy up to 85% of bacteria and microbes and sterilize the remaining bacteria so that they cannot reproduce. As a result, they cannot do any harm to the body, human body or any other activities. From the purification tank, the water goes to the filtration chamber. In the filtration chamber, the water where concentrated bleach is accumulated is filtered so that no harmful chlorine substances are present. So it is pH perfect and healthy for the people to drink. From the filtration tank, the water then goes to the distribution chamber from where the water is supplied to different types of buildings or different household industries so that people can use it in their day-to-day life. The benefit of this project is that it is highly affordable for the government and does not need a lot of money to implement it. It also reduces the pressure on underground water resource, as most of the buildings nowadays use underground water as the supply of fresh water to the inhabitants of that area. It is also pH perfect. As a result, it cannot do any harm to the body, as contaminated water is very harmful for the people as it can cause different types of deadly waterborne diseases. 70% of human body is constituted of water. So fresh water is very important in our life. If we look at the outer world, most of the developed countries are reliable on this source of water. In America, 76% of people rely on the fresh water which has been transformed from the wastewater. I think my idea will help the country in lot of ways and also in the supply of fresh water to the people. And I think it will reap benefits which can help in the development of the country. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Mohammad Saaduddin. I am in class 8, section A. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to represent you a project in Science Fair 2020 of Cantonment English School and College. Today I want to present you the robotic arm. Uh, Actually, a robotic arm is also referred to an industrial robot or a mechanical arm. It can be operated similarly like an human arm, and it has it will move according to its joints with along axis or can rotate in different directions. The things which are used in this robotic arm is the wooden scales, 3 MG996 are motors which can carry 3 kg loads, and one micro servo motor which can carry 9 gram load, and I have given it at the grip. The and I have used nano jumper wires and 4 10k resistors for as switch, and also 2 push button for pause and replay. Then I have used two 5V batteries and one breadboard. For its connectivity, I have taken a nano cable, and by the help of electricity it can be moved with the help of the resistors. And I have given a 250-degree axis in this motor. Some motors can take a 360-degree axis. It was first designed by Leonardo da Vinci in 1495 with a 4 angle degree freedom and an analog board controller for supplying power and programmability. Then Rancho Arm first established an international robotic arm in 1963, and then Minsky's tactile arm in 1968, and Shinsmith Stanford arm in 1969, and MIT Silver arm in 1974. This thing is also used in the space centers like NASA and ISRO, and this is the most crucial machine for a space center. It can carry any types of load by the help of its grip. According to its motor, if I give a 3 kg motor, it can carry a 3 kg load, but I have given now a 9 gram load. It can do work speedily and more efficiently. It can make higher production in the industrial factories, so that it can create higher production than any human worker in industrial factories. It can also be sent in space, which NASA has done along for many years. They have sent many rovers, and a robotic arm was always attached with that rovers. By attaching a vehicle, we can also send this in the space also. We can also use it in water by keeping the nano outside, and for digging the precious treasures in the depth of the sea, which a human cannot carry easily. Then we can use it is the most important thing for a space center, as it is a crucial substance for the space in the space station also. In the space station, NASA has also used this robotic arm for the moonwalk, for the spacewalk of the astronauts. It can carry heavy things as a man, the things which a man cannot carry, and high temperature things also. It can it can move with a low electricity supply also, and now its cost is about 1050 taka. And thank you for seeing my project. Assalamualaikum.
How to meet the energy demand, the burning question of 21st century. We are rapidly losing our fossil fuels. Because of this, in near future, we will be deprived from getting energy. So we have to think about alternative sources of getting energy. That's why I have tried to make a way so we can harvest one natural way and renewable way of producing electricity, that is hydroelectricity. In this method, I have made these boxes to simulate a river. So we know in Bangladesh we have lots of rivers, and they have a very turbulent flow in the rainy seasons. So we can get lots of energy if we can harvest them. This is an apparatus I made to simulate the water flow. These boxes represents the small portion of river I am working with. We place a blockade in the river flow height difference which will compress the water falling phenomenon to create more energy in a certain flow in that flow that I have separated from with the blockade. This water flow will help DC generator to turn and create electricity. Project special. These kind of things are really easy to make and can easily be made in rural areas. In my in-house testing, a small DC motor produced 3 volt when I use this in this way. Now, if I scale this up properly and use a proper DC generator, I can get a steady voltage and a steady current from that apparatus. Now, this is a small version of it and it can produce 3 volt. And now, if we take the scenario and it is a very big river with lots of flow in it, and I place a very efficient and very powerful DC motor or generator in it, we can produce a steady line which can power a house easily. And if we use this in parallel circuit, and then we can power lots of houses together with a steady current flow.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Muhammadul Islam Chaudhary. I am from Cantonment English School and College, Class 8, Section D. I have made free energy generator as my Science Fair 2020 project. Now I will show some theories and working process of my project through a slide. I have made a free energy generator as my science project. We need the theories of electromagnetic induction in this project. Michael Faraday was an English scientist who contributed to the study of electromagnetism. Faraday was greatly interested in the invention of electromagnet, but his brilliant mind took earlier experiments still further. If electricity could produce magnetism, why could not magnetism produce electricity? In 1831, Faraday found the solution: electricity could be produced through magnetism by motion. He discovered that when a magnet was moved inside a coil of copper wire, a tiny electric current flows through the wire. Here are the Faraday's laws of induction. Here we can see how electromagnetic induction occurs by a moving magnet. Here we can see how a magnet generator works. Some theories about free energy magnet creating energy electromagnets Adams motors are shown. Now I will show the components that are used to make a free energy generator. I took a 50 mm PVC pipe. Then I took 2 small parts of a larger PVC pipe and joined them to the previous one. Then I took a copper wire and made a coil around the PVC pipe. We will make another coil like this. I took a wooden board and fixed the coils on it. Then I took a DC motor and 2 permanent magnets and joined the magnets in the pin of the DC motor. I fixed the DC motor in a wooden box and joined it on the wooden board. Then I took a switchboard and joined the coils and DC motor to the switchboard. Our free energy generator is complete. We will join a battery to the DC motor for only 2 to 3 seconds just for giving motion to the magnet. Let's see. When the magnet starts rotating, electric field is created and thus electricity is passed through the copper wire to the switchboard. When we connect a bulb to the switchboard, it will light up without any direct source of electricity. So free energy is generated. In this way, we can use a free energy generator to save a lot of electric energy in our daily lives. Thank you.
My name is Ashlat. I read in Cantonment English School and College. Now, I will make a science project which its name is free energy water salt and magnets with light bulbs. Now, for making this project, we need two disposable glass and general water, little bit salt, and one wire, bronze wire, and below 12 volt light. Okay, let's start it. First, we take a glass. Then we keep the magnet in such a way that it shouldn't be fallen inside the glass. At first we keep it. Then we add some water. After that, we add some little bit of salt. When the salt and water are put together, there are some reaction. From that reaction, we will get the light, the power of light. Okay, then we attached where then we will keep this glass inside the another glass. Let's see. Now it's done. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. I am Iftisham Hassan Talukdar of Cantonment English School and College, Class 8. First of all, take my salam, my respected judges and teachers. First of all, we will take a container which is filled up with water, and we will connect its head with a syringe, and we will take the syringe back, connect with a stick, and that stick will be connected with a CD or a round object or a wheel, and that wheel will be connected with a DC motor. After that, we will just fire up the container, and when the vapor will be created inside it, it will create a pressure, and we will just turn a CD a little, and it will just try to run with a lot of speed, and this speed will help to light up a bulb or a fan or anything else. It will help to create the energy. So this project is economically beneficial. We can produce it with waste fire and water. We can produce it in factories. It's we can eat in factory and mills. They can produce their own electricity by using it. We can also use it in households and with a small budget and arrangement by using this fire, water and these equipments. So I hope this project is liked by my teachers and judges. Thank you for spending your valuable time.